Check this shirt real quick today. No days off. Bringing it every fucking day. Bringing Briggs in there today too, eh? He won't leave me alone, so I figured, hey, we're going to do a video. You're going to be in it. Now, one of the things I want to talk about real quick, as you hear me talk about what it takes to build muscle, at least through your training, one of the things you want to do is obviously subject your muscles to high levels of tension in their longest, mid-range, and shortest positions. But because of how muscles are designed, a lot of people have a very difficult time subjecting a muscle to high levels of stress in their shortest position. Long range is easy. Just lower weight as low as it can go. Put a muscle in a fully stretched position. Mid-range, you're strongest. So most people train through this range as is. But shortest range, what happens is, number one, because you're weakest in your shortest range, it's very, very difficult to get into that range. Your body will compensate. And number two, the energy required to get from the longest range to the mid-range to the shortest range will negatively affect your ability to get into the shortest range because you're going to run out of energy, or not even run out of energy depending on how many reps you're doing. But obviously you will have expended some energy en route to getting to the shortest range. So you're weakest in that range, and to get to that range requires energy, which is why most people don't train a muscle through that range. So I'm going to give you one little indicator or landmark that you can pay attention to so that you can at least, understand or know if you're physically putting yourself in position to put a muscle in its shortest range or not. And this landmark is for the upper body only. It's the elbow. If you pay attention to where your elbow is, muscles like the pec, the lat, the delts, the biceps, and the long head of the triceps all either start or finish in the shoulder joint. Therefore, the relative position of the elbow will influence how much tension you could possibly be placing a muscle under in its shortest range of motion, right, Briggs? So I'm going to put him down, actually. Let him run away, go do whatever he wants to do, and I'll give you some practical visuals that will help you. I'm not going to use any anatomical jargon because when I start to say things like acromion process or thoracolumbar fascia, people's brains just shut off and they don't fucking pay attention to anything, and therefore what's the point of doing this? Now, for the pec, we'll use the pec. The pec starts here, my right pec, and it finishes here. I need to bring this point as close to this point under load as possible. And if I pay attention to where my elbow is, the landmark, that will indicate to me whether or not the pec is in a fully shortened position. Pec deck is a good exercise to do that, cables as well. Obviously with the free weight, if I do a fly or a press in this position, the resistance is going this way. If I keep going across, it's no longer on the chest, it's going to be on the back of the arm. It's going to come down and smash me in the face. Not very effective movement to build any sort of muscle. Now, the lat is another one. The lat originates down here and inserts up here. So it finishes here, it starts here. I need to get this point as close to this point. So if I pay attention to where my elbow is, I'll have a better idea of whether or not mechanically I'm putting myself in a position to do so. So if I do, let's say, a wide grip lat pull down, and I'm doing lat pull downs like this, if my elbow is out here, is the lat in a fully shortened position at any point of that range of motion? The answer is no. So wide grip pull down is actually not a very good lat builder. It's a very good exercise because a lot of muscles are involved. If you're a bodybuilder, it mimics a lot of your poses. It'll mimic a back double bicep, or the in-between shot where they kind of squeeze and then boom, flex. So lat pull down with a wide grip is effective for those purposes because it mimics your pose. But to build a lat through a full range of motion, it's not good. You don't get a full stretch out here. You don't get a full contraction down here. The biceps is another one. The biceps start up here and finish down here. You need to get this point as close to this point under load. If I do a curl, that's not going to be a fully shortened position. If my elbow's up here and I'm doing a cable curl or a preacher curl of some kind or an overhead cable curl, those are the positions that are going to place the bicep in its fully shortened position. So if I want a fully developed bicep through a full range, I'm going to need to do exercises that include those positions, and where the elbow is will influence whether or not I'm putting my bicep in a fully shortened position. Triceps is another one. Long head of the tricep starts up here, finishes down here. Need to get this point as close to this point as possible. If I extend my elbow, that's half of the equation. If I bring my shoulder down and back, now the triceps in a fully shortened position. So something like a kickback, which is supposedly by most coaches, beliefs, one of the shittiest exercises there is. Well, it's one of the exercises that places the long head of the tricep in a fully shortened position. So the elbow can be used as your indicator as to whether or not mechanically you're putting yourself in a position to subject the muscle to high levels of tension in its shortest position, at least as it relates to the muscles that I've discussed. Obviously, your brain and your capacity to recruit a muscle will influence that. And if you have a very low capacity to recruit a muscle, how are you going to develop a mind-muscle connection? How are you going to increase your capacity? By stress and repetition, by paying attention and putting focus and effort and concentration into doing the right things, while also mechanically positioning yourself in such a way to do so. And then over time, hopefully, your capacity to recruit a muscle improves and is better, and then you can recruit it at will, and then everything you do becomes more effective. So if you like this information, feel free to share it. Do for others as I've done for you. Click the fucking button at the bottom, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep bringing it every single day. No days off. If I don't bring it one day, or it looks like I didn't bring it, it's because I was busy helping other people. And if I'm not busy helping other people, I'm busy working on myself so I can help more people.